I'm currently on the phone with Sarah Greene. She's another musician that reached out about the current interview session. So I'm going to go ahead and give her the chance to introduce herself.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, Sarah Greene. Uh, just really looking forward and excited to have the opportunity to visit with you, Alex. I'm happy I had the chance to do that. Uh, I'm a multi-instrumental, multi-genre vocalist, musician, primarily keyboards and bass, the occasional accordion and whatever else. Um, Grew up kind of classically trained, and but grateful for the opportunity to have some multi-genre exposure as a kid. Um, Lots of different things, which have I think really led to my pretty eclectic taste. Um, so excited about that, and doing a lot of playing, and grateful for all those opportunities as well.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about that for a bit. Tell me about when you were a kid and first got into music. Was it, your family kind of telling you to do it, or did you find a love for it on your own?
I think very much both nature and nurture. Uh, a lot of music in the family. My mother had a gorgeous voice, taught piano as well. Her father, my maternal grandfather, actually is a National Polka Hall of Fame inductee, and so he locally had a polka band, and then had even done some national travel. So between that, the music lessons, kids in the house, as well as just my parents were a bit older when they had me. So a lot of the music that I was exposed to when I was quite young uh, was quite a bit older, which I think also is added to, again, not only my eclecticity in taste, but just appreciation for so much of the stuff that's been around for a bit. So still to this day, I appreciate and enjoy listening to that, and playing it as well.
Okay, so tell me about when you began to engage in music and set about learning an instrument.
Well, I have photos of me being on stage performing with my grandfather's band when I was 3. Also sang in church for the first time when I was 3. Started my formal lessons on piano at 5. Continued those through college. Um, and and I think what struck most adults, and maybe even myself in reflection later on, is that I didn't seem to experience any of the stereotypical stage fright as a youngster. I was just drawn to it, and I enjoyed it so much. And it gave me an opportunity to really see uh, how it might be able to positively affect other people as well. Um, just being able to see people enjoy whatever I was able to be a part of, musically.
Okay, so learning an instrument at that age, I can somewhat relate to. At that point, you don't really connect it with, a creative tissue kind of thing. You kind of just ostensibly look at it as something you're additionally doing, like a hobby. At what point do you think you kind of branched out of that and started to realize that it was part of a larger, environment and community than just something that you were involved in?
Well, I think I have to answer that twofold. First of which, because I had started lessons so young, by the time I got into, I want to say, about 5th grade, I absolutely hated it and I wanted to quit. I didn't want to be practicing every day. I didn't want to be told and forced to practice every day like I was. And I am eternally grateful now as an adult that at that time, that was not an option in our house. I wasn't allowed to quit. And so now, I'm on the flip side, and as an adult, and also a lesson giver myself, I can share that with younger people and say, listen, I wanted to quit. I wasn't allowed to, but I'm grateful that I didn't because now I play professionally. It's how I make my living, and it's just given me some absolutely incredible opportunities through experiences and people and travel and all that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, that's great. I could definitely chime in on that as well. Throughout my life, I've had similar experiences. It's never been a point where I stopped completely, but it has waned some
Yeah.
here and there. And in those moments where it has waned, I wish that it had not, and I wish I had just kept with it.
Yes, and really, and so to the second part, answer to your question, at what point did I start to kind of garner maybe a better or deeper emotional connectivity with it? I think maybe that was around, maybe that stereotypical adolescent age where young people are, trying to kind of discover themselves and figure out what makes them tick and all of that. Um, as much as I recall there always being a positive connection, I think around that 10, 11, 12-year old age, that's the first time I started to pick up a guitar. And I started to branch out and started to have more opportunities even into teenagerhood with being exposed to and invited to participate in different kinds of performances and um, I started playing with a live band for the first time when I was 15. And that roster of musicians, I'm friends with most to this day. Just absolutely incredible. So to be able to have that exposure to that type of musicianship and experience really, really has just been so invaluable.
Sure. So let's talk a bit about once you did kind of gain that appreciation for it and then started to realize that you wanted to do it for yourself. Did you start looking at other bands that you could join and play with them, or did you kind of go about taking a different avenue?
So I think my road, I feel, is a bit unorthodox. So as musical as I have always been, um, I ended up going to post-secondary education, went to 6 years of college, and working and trying to put myself through school and navigating life. There really was a period where I was not busy musically at all. I hate to admit it, but there was a period there where I went many, many months, if not years, at a crack without any kind of musical engagement. Um, and so learning that and even appreciating that absence at that time, was able to come full circle and then really try to kind of make up for lost time in the interim. So I've only been wanting to and trying to remain even busier musically since that time. So.
Okay, so it's been filled with a bunch of different projects that you're just happy to engage with, however.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, I've had some incredible opportunities thanks to some really great people, and just trying to learn from all of those, right?
Sure, absolutely. So that kind of brings us up to kind of where you are now. Tell me about what you're currently working on and kind of what you see for yourself in the next 5, 10 years.
You know what? I am a part of a couple different projects. My primary band project actually is kind of on a bit of a medical hiatus right now. I put together a group called Wrecking Crew about 7 years ago. We did a pretty decent amount of at least regional touring, kind of a lot of weekend warrior stuff. We all have had full-time jobs aside from that as well. Um, Again, totally enjoyed what we had going on, and then just got busy and trying to make stuff work. But also, again, just through the opportunities of other people, I'm currently playing keyboard, 3 different projects. Part of a great project coming up with some absolutely fantastic Minnesota-based musicians. We're kind of trying to very organically and kind of slow and steady wins the race put together this next project. We're in rehearsals now. Hope to be out performing and even doing some recording here in the next 6 months or so. I've got a group that plays primarily on Sunday afternoons at a place in northern Minnesota with a fantastic just bar outdoor amphitheater venue and some of the musicianship from that stage alone. I tell people and I encourage people to come out and check them out. And anytime that anyone is able to do that, they are absolutely rightfully more than pleasantly surprised and just thrilled at what they're able to hear for free outside on a Sunday afternoon in the summertime and inside in the winter as well. So
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's the entire reason why I do these interviews, because there's musicianship all over that you may not think to seek out or may not even know that is out there, but it is.
yeah, and I'm from northern Minnesota originally. And even though I consider that my home base most of the time, I travel pretty extensively, both myself as a solo artist and um, with some of these other projects that I'm a part of. Um, I also love rodeo. So rodeo and music are two of my biggest passions. So for me to be able to couple those together really is an absolute ideal for me. So I've been blessed to have the opportunity to be a part of some big pro rodeo events for quite a few years, including just this last December in Las Vegas for it's essentially like the Super Bowl of rodeo. It's called the National Finals Rodeo. So the Benny Binion bucking horse sale um, at South Point in Las Vegas. It's just an incredible event. Had a great first time experience with them, and I've been fortunate to be hired already for next year. And so really looking forward, and we're in talks and trying to plan and put together. And I have the distinct privilege of being the first live performer that they've hired to perform the national anthem in their history of their event. So again, taking that responsibility very seriously, very humbling, and just so thrilled to be a part of those kinds of things. So looking forward to December already. And again, northern Minnesota will always be my home, but I love to travel. I appreciate all these opportunities, and I'm not a fan of winter. So any chance that I have to be on tour somewhere warmer at least half of the year, I'm all for it.
Sure, absolutely. So, tell me a couple of your like favorite memories that stand out to you and just keep you want to continue to tour and play music.
In no particular order, one of the things that comes to mind when you ask that is when I was 14, I had the opportunity to perform for governor at the time and his wife. It was Jesse Ventura. And regardless of your political feelings, as people, they were very, very engaging and lovely people. Um, I was part of a locally organized event for that they were visiting a town. Had a chance to perform for them once. Wanted to try to introduce myself and at least say hello afterwards at a public event, and they recognized me and personally invited me to perform for a private function for them a few days later. And so I had a chance to perform for them twice. And I was young. I was like 13 years old when this happened. So that was pretty special, for a 13-year-old, especially not only for the opportunity itself, but just to be able to have that experience that included such grace and hospitality and warmth towards, like I said, a teenage kid, skinny, scrawny kid. So,
Sure.
that was definitely special. Um, I've been able to perform in orchestra hall. Again, my my pro rodeo love and involvement with them. Some really incredible opportunities for some pretty major events with them, including uh, my largest crowd has been 30,000 that I've had a chance to perform the national anthem at a professional rodeo. So it's some of those things that stick out, but I just have to stress too that those are filled with countless other, maybe not as you know significant, in size or crowd, but again, some of the people that I've had a chance to meet and work with, and to get support as a young person and as a young woman, from some of these seasoned musicians that took the time and kind of held their hand out and allowed some wisdom and some insight, and you know Lord willing, even some shared stage time. So
Excellent. All right. Well, where can people find you and check you out and, follow the projects that you're working on?
I have a few things up on YouTube, just under Sarah Greene. Uh, it's a little bit of a mishmash of things. I'm working on trying to get some more things up all the time. I have a Facebook presence. Again, either Barbed Wire Productions or the band Wrecking Crew MN.
Perfect. And I always like to give the person I'm interviewing the opportunity to put out their last word. So, what's a message that you have that you think other people should hear?
Other people in general, I just want to say choose kindness. You can take that as seriously or as much of a cliche as you choose. Um, but I appreciate the value in that. From a musical standpoint, absolutely. I have to say, a wise person once shared with me, always play with people better than you. And if you know, you know. So the intrinsic value in that, again, has just been absolutely incredible. And that's something that I always strive to be able to do.